1. When designing training for the National Australia Bank Test, which adult learning principle should be prioritized to ensure relevance to employees' daily banking tasks? A. Rote memorization. B. Contextual application. C. Passive observation. D. Instructor-driven delivery. 2. Which evaluation method best measures long-term retention of compliance regulations for NAB employees? A. Pre-test and post-test comparison. B. On-the-job observation after 3 months. C. One-time classroom quiz. D. Peer group discussion feedback. 3. A curriculum developer for NAB test preparation decides to integrate scenario-based simulations. This primarily supports which learning principle? A. Andragogy's focus on self-concept. B. Behaviorist conditioning. C. Child-centered pedagogy. D. Lecture-based reinforcement. 4. In a mentoring session for NAB test candidates, the mentor asks reflective questions about decision-making in financial compliance. What skill is being developed? A. Rote recall. B. Critical thinking. C. Mechanical repetition. D. Passive listening. 5. Which communication strategy ensures clarity when explaining NAB's regulatory frameworks to diverse learners? A. Using only technical terminology. B. Simplifying concepts with analogies. C. Allowing learners to interpret on their own. D. Delivering content through memorization drills. 6. When assessing regulatory compliance knowledge, which tool offers the most objective evaluation? A. Group discussions. B. Standardized testing. C. Oral questioning. D. Peer-to-peer grading. 7. NAB requires training materials to align with national financial regulations. This reflects which core principle of curriculum development? A. Learner-centered design. B. Regulatory compliance. C. Instructor preference. D. Time efficiency. 8. Which method best supports adult learners preparing for NAB test case study sections? A. Open book note review. B. Scenario-based problem solving. C. Memorization of definitions. D. Multiple choice drills only. 9. During test preparation workshops, facilitators encourage learners to share past banking experiences. This strategy uses which adult learning concept? A. Prior experience as a resource. E. Rote memorization. C. Instructor dominance. E. Sequential note-taking. 10. A post-training survey shows employees lack confidence in applying risk assessment principles. Which follow-up is most effective? A. Repeat the lecture verbatim. E. Provide interactive case study practice. C. Increase the length of assessments. D. Focus on written policy handouts only. 11. Which mentoring technique would most effectively enhance critical reasoning for NAB test compliance scenarios? A. Directly giving the answers. B. Modeling decision-making processes. C. Ignoring learner responses. D. Assigning more memorization tasks. 12. If a NAB test candidate struggles with financial terminology, which instructional approach is most appropriate? A. Provide a glossary with contextual examples. B. Increase assessment difficulty. C. Require independent research only. D. Avoid addressing terminology gaps. 13. What evaluation method best measures how NAB test candidates apply ethics in decision-making? A. True-false questions. B. Case-based written analysis. C. Matching terms to definitions. D. Multiple-choice recall. 14. Curriculum developers include NAB-specific compliance updates quarterly. This reflects which instructional design practice. A. Continuous content revision. B. Static knowledge distribution. C. Pedagogy without adaptation. D. One-time curriculum design. 15. Which communication strategy prevents misunderstanding during NAB compliance workshops? A. Encouraging open questions. B. Using jargon-heavy delivery. C. Reading regulations verbatim. D. Avoiding learner participation. 16. A facilitator designing the NAB test prep course ensures content aligns with job performance. This supports which principle? A. Problem-centered learning. B. Memorization-based design. C. Theory-driven detachment. D. Instructor-led repetition. 17. During evaluation, candidates are asked to explain compliance concepts in their own words. This primarily assesses A. Critical reasoning. B. Guessing skills. C. Passive memorization. D. Instructor preference. 18. Which mentoring approach best develops leadership skills in NAB test preparation groups? A. Encouraging peer collaboration. B. Isolating learners during study. C. Restricting input to mentors only. D. Focusing solely on test scores. 19. A key requirement of NAB training programs is ensuring all instructional materials are auditable. This reflects A. Documentation for regulatory compliance. B. Preference for learner autonomy. C. Instructor-style variation. D. Flexibility without record keeping. 20. What evaluation method identifies gaps in NAB test curriculum effectiveness? A. Learning outcome analysis. B. Instructor satisfaction reports. C. Learner attendance tracking. D. Hours of study completed. 21. In NAB test preparation, integrating adaptive quizzes helps address A. Individual learner needs. B. Instructor teaching style. C. Organizational tradition. D. Fixed exam formats only. 22. A mentor provides immediate feedback after practice test responses. This supports which adult learning principle? A. Reinforcement through timely feedback. B. Independent trial and error. C. Memorization without correction. D. Passive repetition. 23. NAB requires clear documentation of training outcomes. Which curriculum element ensures compliance with this requirement? A. Measurable learning objectives. B. Instructor opinion surveys. C. Learner interest lists. D. Test difficulty adjustment. 24. Which communication method is most effective for delivering compliance updates across multiple NAB branches? A. Standardized digital modules. B. Face-to-face sessions only. C. Unstructured email summaries. D. Peer-to-peer informal exchanges. 25. When evaluating the NAB test program, which measure best reflects workplace application of knowledge? A. Behavioral performance indicators. B. Number of training hours. C. Memorization test results. D. Instructor attendance. 26. Which mentoring practice best fosters learner autonomy in NAB test prep? A. Encouraging self-directed problem solving. B. Providing fixed answers. C. Limiting discussions. D. Restricting learner questions. 27. A curriculum developer revises NAB test materials to reflect changes in financial laws. This demonstrates A. Compliance-driven curriculum updates. B. Learner-centered irrelevance. C. Instructor bias in design. D. Randomized test creation. 28. What adult learning approach strengthens engagement when preparing for NAB test simulations? A. Hands-on practice with real-world tasks. B. Memorizing case study answers. C. Passive note-taking. D. Ignoring learner context. 29. Which communication technique ensures clarity when explaining NAB's ethical standards? A. Using plain language and examples. B. Overloading with technical detail. C. Delivering abstract-only principles. D. Avoiding real-world applications. 30. An evaluator uses performance-based rubrics for NAB test case studies. This method ensures A. Objective and consistent scoring. B. Instructors' subjective grading. C. Faster but less reliable results. D. Limited learner feedback. 31. When mentoring NAB test candidates, modeling ethical decision-making in financial transactions represents A. Experiential learning. B. Memorization learning. C. Passive observation. D. Unstructured coaching. 32. Which evaluation strategy would identify strengths and weaknesses across NAB test candidate groups? A. Comparative performance analysis. B. Instructor anecdotal notes. C. Random guessing patterns. D. Static score reporting. 33. In NAB test curriculum design, aligning assessments with job-specific tasks ensures A. Constructive alignment. B. Arbitrary exam creation. C. Pedagogy misalignment. D. Memorization over application.